With our knowledge of what forensic psychology is and what forensic psychologists do, we can now further investigate how forensic psychologists examine the minds of serial killers. To begin my research, I asked Dr. Frost, how do forensic psychologists approach examining a killer's mind? Questioning, testing? His clear response was, if you are referring to a forensic psychologist conducting a criminal profile, we will examine the crime scene, if possible, police reports, autopsy reports, interviews with people who knew the victim. We will see if there are any patterns across the data, like whether the killings are done in an organized or premeditated way, or more suddenly and in a way that is unplanned. We then want to figure out what type of person committed the crime based on past research on profiling. Just based on this answer alone, I realized studying a killer is definitely more complex than it sounds. Forensic psychologists have to complete various steps that will hopefully lead them to the right answers. According to Nicola Gray, there is a test known as the Implicit Association Test, or the IAT, which was previously used to assess concealed prejudices to show that psychopathic murderers have abnormal cognitive associations regarding violence, which may underpin their actions. Such implicit measures may provide us with an important insight into the criminal mind. Tests like the IAT are utilized in forensic psychology to come closer to understanding what exactly goes on in a killer's mind. In addition to testing, David Cantor discusses a narrative approach. This narrative approach shows how offenders' narratives provide a richer understanding of the meaning of their offending actions rather than dispositional or social theories. As a part of a personal story or narrative, motivation and meaning necessarily become the intention to act, or the dynamic process that is required to move the drama forward. By understanding the narrative, then, we can get closer into understanding the action. The story behind a felon's behaviors are crucial when it comes to figuring out why they did what they did. Forensic psychologists can thus dig deeper into a criminal's narrative in order to discover why the crime happened. To conclude my research, I was wondering, is behavioral analysis an effective way to predict the characteristics of an individual serial killer? Dr. Frost had just the answer I was looking for. His honest response opened my eyes. He answered with, in a nutshell, not really. I know that the FBI will cite anecdotes to justify this method, but controlled studies show that this technique is not better than guesswork by college students and other non-experts. That is not reassuring. We need to turn to scientific approaches to figure out the best practices associated with predicting serial killers. The stakes are too high. I found it extremely interesting that he was able to provide a special perspective on this. His response made me realize that there are many justifications to the method of behavioral analysis. However, we cannot really trust all of them. Examining serial murderers is a vital task that is classified in the field of forensic psychology. Being able to understand what exactly circulates through their mind is crucial in order to prevent or predict the murder of future victims. Based on my research, it has become blatant to me that there are several ways to analyze a serial killer's mind, yet some of them are unreliable. Forensic psychologists must use solid, dependable testing to accurately investigate a killer's twisted mind, mainly because someone's life may depend on it.